Welcome to MPL Sports presents Quest for Glory. In this upcoming campaign, India is going to don a jersey that derives inspiration from a billion fan cheers, that pays respect, pays homage to all the cricket fans that are scattered all over the globe, and hopefully is a beacon of inspiration for Team India when they take the field and show their game. And towards that end, we are going to look at some of the finest bowling spells in the history of this tournament from India's point of view. And here's something interesting. A very large number of those, if you seek to make a short list, actually come from that path-breaking first event back in 2007. There were a few after that as well, but sometimes the tracks were turning too much. Harbhajan Singh got 4 for 12 in a game against England once, but they were never really in the game. Ashwin had a couple of really good performances versus Australia in 2014. Then again, 2 for 20 in that game. That's now part of folklore, isn't it? That game against Bangladesh. So I've tried to shortlist some of those, and I've come up with 5 spells that I'm going to remember. And I'm going to start with one of Ashwin's, because there was that phase in 2012-14 when Ashwin came out of Chennai Super Kings in the IPL, was doing absolutely fantastic. And the one that I've picked actually comes from a game against Australia in 2014. India had made 159 and was a pretty decent score, chaseable score on a decent pitch. And then Ashwin came and picked up 4 for 11. And sometimes you look at where those 4 for 11 came, were they just coming at the end when people were slogging, when the game was done? 3 of those were top order batsmen. And I just thought I had to have an Ashwin spell from that period in sort of 2012-14, as I said. But for the rest of the spells, I'm going back to 2007. It was just some tournament. And there's a Srishant spell. Oh, by the way, Srishant also saved that game, if you remember, against Pakistan. Just 1 run needed of 2 balls. The first game in the 2007 campaign, he saved that. There was a run out of the last ball. It led to the bowl out. And of course, India won those games. So which are the 4 spells that I've selected from them? There's 2 RP Singh spells. The first of those is 4 for 13 versus South Africa. India had to win that game. South Africa actually had 2 targets, if you remember, one to just qualify and the other to actually win the game. And he started off, he got Graham Smith, he got Herschel Gibbs. And remember that one to Sean Pollock that came back in, and then he went on to pick up the wicket of Albie Morkel at the end. 4 for 13 in a 157 chase was fantastic, and RP Singh was getting the ball to straighten off the deck, to swing back in. He was in very good form. The next one that I've chosen is from Srishant, who, by the way, had a really good tournament if you look at some of the scores in that tournament. And I've picked the game against Australia. Now, an onslaught from Yuvraj Singh has taken India to about 185. Australia really need to get going. It's a 9 runs and over chase. Srishant rather bowls 4 overs, 2 for 12. One of those very early on was against Adam Gilchrist, who could be a game changer, as we know so well. He'd done that in the final of the 2007 World Cup, the 50-over World Cup. He got him out early, and then when Matthew Hayden was taking the game deep, he came back and got rid of Hayden. So much like that RP spell, 4 for 13 in a 150-odd game, this was 2 for 12 in a 180 game. Srishant was a fantastic bowler. The way he got the ball to move, lovely seam position, Srishant was a joy to watch. And then we get to the final. A Gautam Gambhir 75, a late burst from Rohit Sharma has taken India to 157, and then Pakistan come. They've got a really good batting lineup. RP Singh again with a new ball is in fine form. In the very first over, he gets Mohammad Hafiz, then he gets Kamran Akmal, rocks Pakistan back. Even though Imran Nazir is going at one end, the others are just held back a little bit. And then when Misbah starts to take the game deep towards the end, he comes back and gets rid of Umar Gul. 3 for 26 in a 157 chase was fantastic from RP Singh. But I've reserved my last for yet another bowling performance in that particular game, and that was Irfan Pathan. Pakistan are now trying to start to build partnerships, and Irfan comes in the middle overs and just strangles them in the middle overs. He gets the wicket of, first he gets Shoaib Malik, then there is Yasir Arafat. But in between those two is what I believe was the turning point of that final. Shahid Afridi comes in, he's in tremendous form. He's one of the players of the tournament. And if he starts to get going, that target is achieved. and Shahid Afridi gets out first ball to Irfan Pathan. Some people say there was an ego thing. He wanted to hit him out of the ground, whatever it is. Afridi plays a slog. Irfan Pathan gets the wicket. He's actually player of the match for that spell, as it turns out, with 3 for 16 in one of the greatest T20 matches that India have played. So there you are. What I'm hoping is in the tournament ahead, there will be some more spells so that we're not having to go all the way back to 2007 to pick them, but those were memorable. MPL Sports presents Quest for Glory.